Hi everybody. Thanks for joining us here at Cold Fiction. We've got our September Trailerpalooza episode that we're going to do right now. Things are going to get out of hand because Eric and John are both joining us here, and they are sharing they're sharing a mic because apparently Eric's place is being fumigated or something.
No, just under construction.
Also, Joe's got people working on his place, so we might hear some band saws here in a minute.
100%.
Anyway, so three trailers today we want to talk about that are of import. The Mandalorian and Grogu. We want to talk about Marvel's new game, Marvel Wolverine. And we want to talk about the new animated series that's coming out on Netflix, which is Splinter Cell Deathwatch. Of the three projects, I think for me personally, the one that I'm most excited about it is probably Mandalorian and Grogu. I would say let's kick it off with that. Man, that looks like it's going to be really good. I just got to say, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know. Like it might not be the most serious movie ever made, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. That is my take on the trailer. Who's got something else to say about it? Tell me I'm wrong.
I'll say this. I'm somewhat reluctant to think that it can carry a whole movie because I honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I've enjoyed everything in The Mandalorian, but I do think it kind of peaked at the end of season two.
Hmm.
And it's just sort of like season three was good, I enjoyed it,
Mhm.
but it felt like it had a culmination to the end of season two, and then they just sort of like, okay, well, let's start, just kind of making things up as we go along. It felt like season one and two came to a head, and then season three was just sort of like, just felt like, random adventure time, which is okay, which is fine, but it didn't feel as cohesive as the previous two seasons. So what are they going to do with the movie? Like, it would make more sense to me if this was the build-up, like instead of the build-up being the end of season two. So now
Right.
it's kind of like, okay, well, what are they going to do? Like, there's no real big overarching meta adventure that they're going on anymore.
I kind of don't even care.
No, I don't care. I'm going to
awesome.
enjoy it. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I think
I
you
mean,
and I talked once about like the having a topic of shows that seem to have a a set idea of what they wanted to do, and then they became super popular, and the studios just went more. They're
right,
like, shit, I don't know what to do. Like
right.
Blind Spot, where the chick had all the tattoos on her, and all the tattoos meant something. They had like a 2-season arc, and then it was still super popular. So they're like, season three, she gets invisible tattoos.
Right, she's got
And
invisible ink
you're like,
tattoos.
okay, come on, what the fuck? What is that? She's got invisible tattoos now. Like they re-kidnapped her
And yeah, gave her
and
more
they used
tattoos.
invisible ink. It was just like you could just tell they were like, I have this great idea for
Right,
like 2 seasons, and they're like, okay, great, more of that. And
right. So
invisible
I
ink.
I'm not saying that it hasn't jumped the shark or that it won't jump the shark in this movie. I'm just saying it's going to be some really entertaining shark jumping going on.
What one of the things that was good about the show was that it was a very simple kind of like episodic plot, where it's like, the one thing that was kind of running through everything was the relationship between him and, before we knew he was Grogu, it was Baby
Right,
Yoda, and how
right.
endearing that was. And I don't think they knew how big that was in the beginning and how big it was going to become. But it was kind of refreshing in the fact that I knew that each episode he was going to have some task or some job or some challenge that he was going to have to go and conquer, and then there was going to be some sort of action sequence in that 30 minutes, and then it kind of wrapped up, and then it was almost like Quantum Leap, where it's like, okay, then the
Right.
next one, and then it's a new little challenge, and then
Sure.
it kind of completes its arc every single time, and you just love the seriousness and the stoic Mando with this like ridiculously adorable sidekick that
Eating frogs and
my
shit.
one concern,
Right.
my one concern is obviously like nobody could foresee the tickle me Elmo effect that Grogu kind of gave across like all demographics of people, and how he was
Sure.
just like, there's nothing that any human being, if they have any ounce of like goodness about them, can say anything negative about Grogu. And I think one of the things that I love about Grogu is how subtle everything he does is. And it's like less is more. So when he does do something or like grab for unscrew unscrew the thing,
Mhm.
it's so, I don't want them to play him up and now all of a sudden he's like overly comical and doing all this like
right,
yuck stuff.
doing cartwheels and like,
Yeah, he's
Because they
he's
know
gonna
like
turn
he's
into
clearly like
Gizmo in
cute
this
one.
movie. I feel like.
that's okay. No, I see what you're saying. Like from Gremlins, you're talking about. He's
Yeah,
gonna
and
get it
I don't think Gizmo is a bad thing. Don't get me wrong.
right.
This movie was centered around Gizmo, but and I hate to cut you off there, John, but just if I could interject real quick, I think they saw something and they grabbed onto it too late because, like you're saying, less is more.
Mm,
They were like, "Oh, this is really good. This is really popular. Let's get a hold of this. Let's get lightning in a bottle." And so we've
mm,
already had season 3, and now we're getting a movie. How far later?
mm.
And so now it's going to be like the Grogu show where he's not supposed to be Gizmo. He's not supposed to be a mugwump,
Right.
So that's my concern. But anyway, I digress. Back to you, John.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with that though. I do agree with that.
it's like, are we going to be seeing his powers progress in any sort of like exponential way, or is he going to be like 6 months old for the next 12 years because like Yoda was 900?
Right, yeah.
And so it's not like there's any practical timeline where as long as he's with Mando, we're going to see him as a teenager and then as a young adult,
Right.
whatever. So
which was fun with Groot, by the way, as Groot went through his different like his adolescence and I am Groot. So
sap on this guy.
all I'm saying is I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, sure.
I'm really looking forward to it. I got to be honest. It looks like it's gonna be fun.
I'm sure it'll be anything.
I know it's not gonna be serious. All right.
John Favreau always makes quality movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
is John Favreau the director? I must have missed that.
Yeah.
Well then,
I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost positive.
What was the Star Wars Goonies show that we watched this year?
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. So it
Right.
could be more along that lines. It's
Right.
being lighthearted
Like
and
Skeleton Crew, did you
stuff
see
like
it?
that.
I saw the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, it was Goonies in space.
It was. I enjoyed Skeleton Crew, so it looks like this movie's for me. But we'll see. It may not be. It's certainly not going to be as serious, I don't think. But I still think it'll be good. But the Malguai factor is real. I agree with you, Joe. That like if they try to make him too cutesy, if they put him in like a little RC car and they have him doing too much dumb stuff.
Like Stuart Little.
You're not
Yeah.
gonna see
Dude,
that.
they put him in a mini land speeder, just a
Right.
little mini land speeder.
Right. Like they put him in a robot already and he was beating people up. No.
That was pretty hilarious.
That was pretty cool,
Like,
but you can't,
I'll take it.
I don't
I'll
know. We'll see what Jon Favreau has to do with it. So, second one, moving on. Let's talk about Deathwatch. Let's Splinter Cell Deathwatch. Now, this is an IP that probably might be a little bit before the time of a lot of people who might be watching this. The Splinter Cell games were really popular like a while ago, and
Were those exclusively Xbox?
they were on
No,
PC
PlayStation,
too.
yeah.
They were PC.
Yeah, I played those games. I played
There
those
had
games so
several.
much.
Maybe at some point they had an Xbox exclusive or something. But I mean, they were always at least on PC and console.
Yeah, those were great games, but it's been a while since one came out. So Sam Fisher is dated at this point. I don't know if you guys have any experience. Has anybody here played any of the Splinter Cell games besides me and Alex?
Of course, I have. But
Long time. Did you play it?
It's been a lot. What's the connection with them in like Rainbow Six?
So same creator, basically, right? They're from the same universe. You know what I'm not sure is do you know who's directing? Alex, do you know who's directing the series by any chance?
John Favreau.
God.
But the games at the time they were released were kind of unique because they were relied on stealth over action. The whole thing was hide in the shadows. Try to get in and out without anybody seeing you. Blah blah
Right.
blah.
Didn't
And
Metal
there
Gear
have been a
Solid
couple
do
of
that too?
games like that. But this
Metal
was the
Gear
first one
Solid
with
did
like a
that too, right?
And stealth, like really,
Yeah.
stealth, like sneaking around. But also they were part of the whole, Tom Clancy verse, which was very serious and somber and anti-terrorist, but also high tech, So it was, I thought it was a really cool thing. I enjoyed Tom Clancy's works, his books and stuff. Rainbow Six was a similar feel in a lot of ways as Splinter Cell. That's been a really popular game series. This series, though, apparently is the same writer as John Wick. Is that correct?
I don't know.
The guy who wrote the John Wick movies is the guy who wrote this series.
Here we
Yep.
go. We're gonna look it up.
Is my yeah, look it up.
I'm
Is
just
my
going to say yes. Yep.
is my understanding. So
You should see, like right now, John,
I'm Jesse right now.
yeah, John's got 3 screens.
Yeah.
So
welcome to Nerdville. All
Yeah.
right. That's
we're
cool.
looking at this screen now.
So it's either the writer or the showrunner, but I want to say it's the writer, is the guy who did the John Wick movies. But that's kind of important because they do need to be pretty serious, and it's real easy for a show like this to kind of lose the plot really quickly and turn into something stupid. But I gotta say, the favorite thing that I have, or, my favorite thing that I've seen on Netflix recently was another animated series, Blue Eye Samurai. So
loved it.
yeah,
Fucking
so
loved it.
if they're able to kind of recapture that same magic in this series, I'll be looking forward to it. Joe, any experience with Splinter Cell, Tom Clancy in general? What do you say?
Yeah, you were right about John Wick. Yeah,
The
and he did
writer?
Nobody.
Just
He
as
also
far
did
as far
Nobody.
as the trailer goes, having Leo Schreiber in there is great because I love the guy.
Right, right.
Watching the trailer though, the way it was edited makes me concerned about his voiceover abilities
Mm,
because the cuts were,
Most of these episodes are
for me, being just given my history as an audio guy, the cuts were really weird. But I'll hold out. I'll wait and see what happens with the show. I didn't really like the editing. I didn't enjoy that. So I hope it's better than that when it comes out in a full sequence.
I do agree with you a little bit, in the sense that I think the footage that they showed was not especially compelling in the trailer, and also the animation style is like it's like a 20 frame per second animation, or 40 frames, something like that.
I think what I was telling you about it, I said it was like What If, but that was wrong. It's more like some of the DC animated films, I think.
It
Right.
Is more
Yeah.
that would be more apt.
I mean,
Okay,
I think
yeah, I
after
see that.
watching Blue Eye Samurai and after watching
Right.
Arcane and
Right.
after watching even the last Predator animated movie,
Right.
which was on Hulu, you can see like there can be really high quality level of animation for these types of new kind of movies that are coming up.
Right.
And when I looked at that, or I looked at not only the teaser, but there was a scene from it where the old guy's getting attacked by 2 dudes and he gets stabbed.
Right.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's not the cleanest animation, and that concerns me a little bit, because it's like there's no reason to be doing 20 frame a second animation anymore ever again. There just isn't. But I don't know. What do you think, Alex?
No, I mean, the trailer did seem just kind of low budget. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
isn't it? Will it be good? I don't know. It's like, honestly, I didn't even know this was a thing until Eric told me about it literally today. I didn't know it was being made. I didn't know there was a series or anything. So I watched the trailer. And, like we said, we played the Splinter Cell game a while back in the day, but it's sort of like, it's not really an IP that's really near and dear to my heart, but I'm interested in it if they can make a good material out of it.
Right.
But I'm just, nothing in the trailer wowed me exactly. Yeah, it didn't disappoint me, but I'm just sort of like, okay, I'm not super excited, but I'll watch it and I'll check it out. But
Right.
nothing I've seen amped me, let's say. But
Fair
I'll
enough.
give it a shot for sure.
Yeah.
John and Eric, what do you guys say?
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing. I mean, unless you knew the characters and you knew where these storylines are going to go and what they can do. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if the story's good, if the action's good, like an extra 5 frames a second and a little bit, we've been watching anime since the
Sure.
early '90s, and there's some stuff that I'll rewatch again, and it's fantastic. And so, pretty frames don't necessarily make for a good viewing experience, but like it's got to be like, the characters have to be absolute badasses, and they have to do some fucking Jason Bourne shit that would just be like, fuck, and it doesn't take, you don't need the world's greatest animation to get that point across.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I told you it was like What If. It's totally reminiscent of like 2010 to 2015 DC animated films. And so, which, by the way, some of those were really good. Like
Right.
some of them are really
Sure.
good. So I don't mind it. But yeah, I mean, the last two things I have watched are Arcane and Blue Eyed Samurai. And yeah, if you're gonna, I mean, come, you know,
That's some tough company.
they
That's some
don't
tough.
really compare,
Right.
but it could
Mm.
still be really good. And I think that, you know,
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna wait and see on that one. So last trailer we've got for today is Marvel's Wolverine. Oh, what do you got there, Bueller?
Can I jump in first
Oh.
on this one just because
Yeah.
I gotta run. The trailer was fucking gorgeous. I
Yeah.
cannot believe how gory it is. I was
no shit.
so happy with that. It was absolutely amazing. And I love that there's the costume
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
I
I'm pretty
love-
sure Eric touched himself a few times
Yeah.
watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the costume changes are great. I love that we saw like some of the baddies like Mystique and Omega Red, and it's not just Wolverine murdering just a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what's in store for that, even though I'll never own a PS5. But it made me think like if I was to have a video game based on my favorite character, which is Gambit, what would it be? And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh, it would just be Assassin's Creed,
Mm,
but with a
mhm.
Gambit.
But Gambit's Creed.
What was called?
It would be Gambit's Creed.
I'd play
Like I
it.
was like, oh,
Those
this
are
is such
great.
an
That's a
original
great
idea.
franchise.
And then I'm
I'd fucking play
That's a
it.
Yeah.
great franchise.
yeah,
Yep.
pretty much. But anyway, I'm sorry I got to cut, guys.
Okay.
That's all right. Take it
Well,
easy.
cool,
We'll see
man.
you next time.
Talk
Sir,
to you later.
So I want to say that I do feel like this is going to be a classic game. It looks really good. It looks really good.
Yeah.
It looks gory enough for a Wolverine game, and it looks interesting enough, like that there's actually going to be some gameplay elements to it from what I've seen. Eric, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about it, so
Dude. So I watched the trailer before I showed it to my son because he wasn't home yet when I watched it. And then I was like, do I dare show him this trailer in front of his mom?
Because you don't want there to impede purchase.
Yeah. But then I was like, he's 17. She's, you know, whatever. It's just that she hasn't grown up with video games, so she don't know, right?
right.
So
right.
I'm just like, I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, he stabbed that guy through the face, and then up here through the thing, and it was just like, and then at the end of it, even my wife was like, that looked cool. Okay,
All right.
nice. And so
Coming up with a wife, you got a hell of a game on your
Dude, that's a
Yeah,
stamp of approval right there.
Yeah.
That's means spend the $70.
Yeah. Speaking of which, then my son, and I probably should have mentioned this before the thing, but he mentioned that there's a new Bond game coming out. And
I didn't know
there's
that. Yeah.
There's a trailer out for a new James Bond game that has like a looks very. Oh, it's by the people who did Hitman,
Okay.
which kind of makes sense.
Okay.
A
Sure.
little bit.
Sure.
And then there's some
Which is also like very stealthy.
yeah, there's some car chase elements to it, which makes sense for James Bond.
Of course.
But anyway, dude, I loved it.
Man,
I mean,
it looks like it's going to be amazing. It really does.
absolutely. I mean,
You know what I hate
Jubal,
when they
you never
release-
played the Spider-Man games, did you? From Insomniac?
You know, I never did play the Spider-Man games. I've seen
Same
them
developer.
played.
you played them, right?
I played the fuck out of them. Probably
Right.
the best mechanics of
Yeah.
any
They were
like
fantastic.
open
I've heard
world
that,
fighters. The
like
mechanics-
everybody has said that.
So,
Yeah.
so even if this is just going to piggyback on the formula of Spider-Man and just put Wolverine in it, it's still going to be a damn good game.
Right.
Right.
If
So,
the
so
mechanic,
they really did a great job in Spider-Man, and it looks like they could probably do the same thing here. A lot of times with boss battles in games, it can feel if it's too big and epic, it feels kind of more like an interactive cutscene where you're just
Right.
kind of watching it happen and pressing buttons a few times. But they did a really, really great job of making these huge interactive cinematic battles, while at the same time they didn't feel like they took away your agency as a player,
Yeah.
And so, it looks like they're going to continue that with this. And I'm just like, I hadn't seen any gameplay yet. I don't know if this is the first gameplay they released.
I
But,
think it is. Yeah.
yeah,
oh,
and
man. Yeah.
there
I
was not enough actual game. Like when I see the word gameplay in a trailer,
Hmm.
I don't want it to be cuts. Hey, this is the new cutscene with 1
Right.
to 2 seconds of gameplay.
Sure.
Because
Sure.
Right.
any game can make it look amazing when all you're showing
It's
is
cutscene,
cutscenes.
right?
And so that's why I kind of like wait until there's like 15 minutes of gameplay footage of just straight up like somebody going through the first 15 minutes of a level or something like that. So you can really, really, truly get an idea. But obviously it's a promotional trailer. They're going to make it, they're not going to have that much actual gameplay. But I do feel like there was moments where like, okay, that's actual gameplay. That's actual gameplay. So you can get an idea of like, what are the mechanics? Like what are the mechanics of what he's going to be able to do? Because obviously some of that stuff, there might be like combo moves and like as you moved up through your ability trees that you're going to be able to kind of do those types of things, But one of the things that made Spider-Man totally different than any other type of game was the swinging and the ability to kind of like move through the world through the swinging. Now, obviously, like Wolverine, once you're on the ground and you're fighting, if it's anywhere similar to the way Spider-Man fights, instead of like a web spring, he's just lashing out. As long as all the other fighting is going to be, everything else could suck, that's going to make it enjoyable. Because the mechanics of the fighting with Spider-Man was, hours and hours of fun.
Right. Right. The Batman games too, like those were great too.
Because those were the one. I think those were the format, right? For the Spider-Man ones.
Yeah, Spider-Man piggybacked on the Arkham system, and it's just like they made their own inclusions and their own expansion. And I don't know, like John said, I don't know quite how the combat system will work for Wolverine, who's just a lot less mobile, and purely like a melee. Maybe they'll get guns or something, but that wouldn't really feel right,
No, I think
he'll be jumping around.
He's gonna leap. He's gonna have like
he's gonna lunge.
He's gonna lunge, and then I also don't expect. And this is again, my son knows more about this stuff than I do. He said he doesn't expect it to be open world. And if you think it's going to be open world like Spider-Man, you're going to be disappointed. He can't get around like Spider-Man can. Now, if they end up making a Daredevil game, and then you can have Hell's Kitchen and he can swing on his billy clubs. But in this one, this is going to be more, or at least he thinks it's going to be more level based.
I think that's probably a good prediction. But you can still have a lot of freedom and level-based stuff. Like there was a game series called Deus Ex, that really capitalized on you go into a structure and that's the level, right?
Or even like Midnight Suns. There was a lot of open world, and then you would go to a level,
right?
You would get sent to
it'll
a
be
level
more like hub-based rather
than
like maybe it'll be like within that area you'll be walking around and do different things, but it'll be different kind of location.
You can like walk over to the claw shop and talk to some guys. Hey, everybody, it was some claws. And then when it actually is time for combat, that'll go to like a level system. I think that's probably exactly what it's going to be. I think Brody's right.
But as far as the reveal trailer goes,
to see what kind of hot toys show up out of this. That's going to be.
So, would you say that you're looking forward more to Wolverine than to Mando Grogu?
No. Only because I know I'm personally might not play that much of Wolverine, and I don't know where my son is going to be next year because he's going to go off to college, so I'm not sure.
I will say this: just because it's a Marvel video game doesn't mean that it's going to be good.
Right.
Because Avengers was a hot, smelly dumpster fire trash.
Right. That's what I hear. Like
fucking garbage.
I got it for my son, and I was just like, this is going to be good. And I think he stopped playing it after a couple weeks.
They had
Insomniac hasn't missed though. Like all of their games are quality.
Yeah. And then Guardians of the Galaxy was like, if you just want it for the story, if you want to watch another Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and that's the only reason why you're going through it. But like gameplay and mechanics and like any of the game loops that you're looking for, no.
Right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. That's it. I guess that's it for our Trailerpalooza September 25. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll catch you next time.